In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the merciful. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. In our last lecture, we have discussed about research questions in linguistics. Today, we will discuss about the principle of research design. So what are those principles? What research design is? Why we need research design? Or what are the characteristics, features, and principles of research design? We all will discuss in our today's lecture. Being a researcher, if you know and if you have done the process of identification of your research problem, means you are able to understand your research problem very well. It means you have done one important phase of your research or your thesis, and you have crossed one of the most important difficult section of your research journey. If you know the research problem, what the problem is, and you know the gap, the significance of your research problem, the next step that is involved in the journey of research, it's about the after getting the information or after getting the identification of research problem, that was related to what. So after getting the answers of what are you going to investigate, the next step is involved in a research article or research paper or research thesis. You need to determine how you are going to conduct your study, in what way, the process, the plan, the structure, and the outline, in what way you will go ahead in a research process. Pressman defined that philosophically, researchers make claims about these 5 areas when he or she is going to conduct his or her research. So first area is ontology. What is knowledge? Or what the area, what the problem, or what sort of problem is there to existing of the knowledge. So it's called ontology. It's related to your research problem, main or major problem, whether it is existed or no. Whether if it is existed and you know about the ontology of your research, you have knowledge of your research, of your topic or title. How we know it? This phase is called epistemology. What are the sources of knowledge? What are the sources? In what way we will get information, and we will get data about our research. It's called epistemology. Or what values go into it? It's called axiology. What values? It's a negative, it's a positive, or mixed type values we have about this particular phenomena, particular topic, particular area. What sort of values we give to this phenomena? So it's called axiology. The next is rhetoric. In what way we are writing our research plan, or in what way we write up our all data collection or data analysis, or all the procedure of the research we write. It's called rhetoric. This phase is called rhetoric. And the last one is methodology, the process for studying it. In what way, what procedure, what process, or what strategies, what sort of plan we have to implement regarding our research. So these are the different phases in which our researchers have to gone through all these phases. Here are some questions. When a researcher plans or intends to start his or her research, there are some questions in his or her mind. For example, what procedure will you adopt to obtain answers to research question if you are a researcher? So what is the procedure, or what will be the procedure you will apply, you will use to determine the answers to research questions. Or if you have known or you know about the procedure, how will you carry out the task needed to complete the different components of the research process? In what way that procedure will be completed? What should you do and what should you not do in the process of undertaking the study? Limitation of your research or delimitations of your research. This area will be included in my research, or that particular area will not be included in my research. For example, I'm going to conduct a research related to pronunciation. So in pronunciation, I will just investigate about the sounds, different sounds, phonemic sounds. I will not investigate the accuracy, or I will not investigate the fluency or some other related things that could be grammar or vocabulary. I will just focus to my just phonemic sounds. That will be my area of research or area of study. So basically, we get the answer to these questions. So by which process? The process that is called research design. Our research design tells us the procedure. Our research design tells us the activities, strategies, or our research design limitize or give us our limitations related to our research. So getting answers of all these questions, it means we are talking about the research design. So what is a research design? Different authors and scholars define research design in a different ways. Kurlinger defined it in a way. A research design is a plan, structure, and strategy of investigation so conceived as to obtain answers to research questions or problems. The plan is the complete scheme or program of the research. It includes an outline of what the investigator will do from writing the hypothesis and their operational implications to the final analysis of data. So it starts with the formulation of the hypothesis. After selecting your topic, after finalization of your topic or area or title, you will formulate research questions or hypotheses. And then the whole procedures will be known by the research design. Our research design will discuss about the all procedure, all scheme, all program, all plan of our research until the data analysis. Next, Thayer defined a traditional research design is a blueprint or detailed plan for how a research study is to be completed, operationalizing variables so they can be measured. Operationalize means we need to define our variables, what we meant in our research. As I have given you example of pronunciation. Pronunciation includes different things, different components of language skills we can include in pronunciation. Pronunciation includes vocabulary, pronunciation includes grammar, pronunciation includes phonemic symbols, phonemic sounds, IPHR. In pronunciation we can discuss about all these things, or vocabulary or grammar or different accuracy, or what we can say fluency. But what I mean, in what way I operationalize my topic, I will discuss or I will investigate the phonemic sounds only. It means I have operationalized my variables. I have given clear, what we can say, information about my variables, so that every average reader can be able to understand what I mean or what are my variables. So operationalizing variables so they can be measured, selecting a sample of interest to study, collecting data to be used as a basis for testing hypotheses, and analyzing the results. It's called research design or a traditional research design. Miller defines design research as the planned, sequence of the entire process involved in conducting a research study. According to Young, research design is the logical and systematic planning and directing of a piece of research. So it's a systematic, it's not a haphazard way plan. It's a systematic, organized, right? It's a organized, or it's a include a sequence that are logical sequences. In what way we will go ahead in our research plan, in our research study. So what are the logical and systematic, what we can say, points? First of all, identification of the problem, and then we need to formulate our research question, then we need to make a research design or research in research design. What we will do, we will discuss research paradigm, or we will discuss about the what in what way our research design, in what way our research will be continued, whether we are going to quantitative research design, or whether we are what we can say qualitative data collection or analysis tool we will use, or we will use mixed method research design. So these are the different, but we need to give logical and systematic planning when we are dealing with research design. Scientists and others define research design as catalog of the various phases and facts relating to the formulation of research effort. It's a catalog. When we open the catalog, we will see the whole entire process of our research. It is an arrangement of the essential conditions for collection and analysis of data in a form that aims to combine relevance to research purpose with economy with a procedure. So arrangement of essential condition, or arrangements of some essential or necessary situations. In what way we are going to collect our data, in what way we are going to analyze our data, right? In terms of economy or with the procedure, it must be economical as well. We are able to bear the budget or economy of the related to our data collection and analysis procedures. It must not be so much expensive, and we are unable, even in the mid of our research, we are finished our resources, or we are finished our money. So it must be economy, and we have to plan before starting our research, and we have to give this plan in the shape of research design to ourselves, to our supervisors, or other readers who want to read or study our research. Through our research design, you decide for yourself and communicate to others your decisions. Your decisions about what? Your decisions about what study design you propose to use. How you are going to collect information from your respondents, or how you are going to select your respondents. What will be the sampling techniques? In what way you will select your respondent, or how the information you are going to collect is to be analyzed. What are the data collection, or data analysis tools will be employed by you during your research process, or how you are going to communicate your findings, in what way you will discuss your findings, in what way you will present your findings. So it all will be discussed by your research design. Additionally, you will need to detail in your research design the rationale and justification for each decision. Decision about your decision about your selection of your research problem, decision about what decision about the plan to complete your research, or what will be the procedure, or what will be the strategies, or what will be the participants, what will be your sampling. You give to rationale. You have to justify for all each process. during your research. So rationale and justification for each decision that shapes your answers to how of the research journey will be completed. In presenting your rationale and justification, you need to support them critically from the literature review. You also need to assure yourself and others that the path you have proposed will yield valid and reliable results. It will not be a wastage of time, or it will not be a wastage of money, or it will not be give what we can say invalid result. Crotty's models to address three questions central to the design of research. What knowledge claims are being made by the researcher? What sort of theoretical perspective, what theory you will apply in your research? Or what strategies of inquiry will inform the procedure? You will collect qualitative data, you will collect quantitative data, or you will do mixed method research. So your research, your research design will tell us about all these things. Or what methods of data collection and analysis will be used, right? If you are conducting a survey or you are doing such type of research, you will do what will be the data analysis tools. And you are using SPSS or some other softwares to analyze your data. So it all will be discussed by your research design. Now here a question arises, why we need research design? Can we go ahead in our research without formulation of research design, without interpretation, or without giving a without giving a plan of our research design? Is it possible? No, it's not possible. You have to, after formulation of your research questions, you have to formulate your research design. Or you have to, after selection of your topic or title or finalization of your topic, you need to think about your research design. So what is the study about and what type of data are required? We need to answer these questions, and research design will provide us answer of these questions. What is the purpose, or what is its scope? What are the sources of needed data? What should be the place or area of study from where we will collect our data? It's a local environment, or we have to go some different areas to collect our data. What time approximately is required for the study? It's 6 months time, or especially in MPhil thesis in our university, if you are going to conduct your MPhil research or MPhil thesis, it means 6 months time, or 5 months or 6 months time. That is, I think, the whole semester. So how much time do you have? If you are doing PhD thesis, it means a longer time is required. It means 3 years, approximately 2.5 years minimum. That is required 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years time. And even some students can complete their PhD thesis in more than 5 years time, 6-7 years time even. That is recorded here, especially in Pakistan. The situation is very pathetic, and the students are crying, PhD students especially, and they are complaining about the procedure that is time consuming, and too much time is required to complete our PhD here in Pakistan. So go abroad if you want to study PhD. Do not do PhD in Pakistan. It's my suggestion. So what should be the amount of material or number of cases for the study? So what type of sampling should be used? Or there are different types of sampling, random sampling or systematic sampling, and the different other sampling. If you have know-how about research or research methodology, you must know the different techniques of sampling, or what methods of data collection will be appropriate, qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method is data collection. How will the data be analyzed, that we have discussed in our previous slides. Or what should be the approximate expenditure? Yes, it's very, very important questions. If you don't have finance, if you don't have enough money, and we will not be able to complete our research if it is very expensive. We have to go uh, for a long traveling to meet our participants, to get to collect data from our participants. So it's will be too much expensive. So we have to think about it, the approximate expenditure. So what would be the methodology of study? Different methodology, different, what we can say, different procedure we are going to apply. What should be the specific nature of study? What we have discussed already is related to our methodology, strategies, or nature of study. It will be qualitative or quantitative or mixed method. These all the things are discussed. And the questions of all these, sorry, the answers of all these questions will be provided us or will be given us by the research design. So what are the advantages of research designs? There are some advantages. Of course, lead to more accurate results. We have done planning for this in advance before initiation of our research. So we have outlined, we have some scheme of study, scheme of work, and pre-plan the things that are more beneficial rather than conducting our research in haphazard way or randomly. We are going in this word this way in that way. So we have done a pre-planned activity, so we will be able to get more accurate results. Oh, give optimum efficiency and reliability. We have used authentic data collection tools or authentic data analysis tools, then definitely our research will be reliable or valid. Minimize the wastage of time as well as money. We have done planning, how much time will be required or how much expenditure will be necessary or to cope with all the procedure of the research work. So we will be able to save our time. Instills confidence in the research. That's very important. After completion of your research, after making your research design or after formulation of your research design, you are able to see the things in a more clear way. And you can think about all this. You can think, you can rethink all the procedure. Is it be done by me or is it be what we can say? Will it be able to complete by me, right? Or whether there are some sort of hurdles or hindrances in the entire process of research, or if we see that these sorts of hurdles or hindrances could be or difficulties or issues could be arise, we can think or we can what we can say to cope with all those issues by thinking or by planning or by doing amendments in our research design. So I'm sorry. So research design, because we have learned before us, so we are confident even that we can conduct our research. It provides satisfaction and success. If you are doing your genuine research, you have selected your topic, you have selected your area, you have formulated your research design, you have made your research questions. So all this procedure is done, you will feel some sort of satisfaction and success. Yes, you have done this data by yourself, you have done all this process of research. It means you are some sort of a researcher, or you are going to become a researcher in very in near future after completion of your research work. Next, there are some types of research design, different research design types. You can see here 4 types of research design: exploratory type research design, descriptive type research design, diagnostic type research design, or experimental research type research design. These are the 4 types of research design. Number 1, exploratory type research design. what we do in this exploratory or explorative research studies are also termed as formulative research studies. And exploratory study is a systematic scientific approach which enables a social scientist or a researcher to determine whether an idea is in reality or not. What we have done in the start of, we have discussed about the ontology that was in the start. We have discussed about the ontology, whether it is existed or not, whether this reality is existed or not. So exploratory type, we need to explore, we need to get in-depth understanding, or need to get more, what we can say, a detailed research. Explorative studies can provide ideas, hypotheses, suggestions that might never occur to the social scientist sitting in an office and mediating or thinking and doing overbrooding over the problems. So it's a field work. We have to go outside. We need to explore the things. We need to leave our office, leave our room, and become practical. So it's more flexible done in the field. Whether there is a little knowledge is available, we have to probe, we have to search, we have to investigate about a particular phenomena. Katz has conceptualized exploratory studies at two levels. The first level is the discovery of the significant variable in the situation. We are able to find out the significant variable, the phenomena that is investigatable and that's very important, that is ignored by the other researchers, that is not emphasized, that is not studied by other researchers. So it's a first level of exploratory studies. Or the second is the discovery of relationship between variables. First, we know at the ontology level existence of the variables, or knowing about the important variables. Then means we need to see the relationship. This is all the second level of the exploratory studies. We need to find out the relationship between different variables, and it's imperative for the investigator to delimit the area to be studied, especially at the first level. So if a researcher wants to study only the first level, the existence of the situation, the existence of the problematic area, or the existence of the phenomena that is studyable, researchable, or feasible to conduct research on that area. So it's up to the researcher, it's up to the investigator to what sort of research or study he wants to, or he intends to investigate. Number two is that descriptive type research design. Descriptive type research design involves rigid data, not flexible data, non-flexible data, rigid or objective type data. Then there is a probability sampling design. There are two types of sampling: probability sampling or non-probability sampling. Why we say it's a probability sampling? If we have done the process of sampling by probability sampling, it means our respondent has free will to be included in the sampling technique, and all are having equal chance to be selected for our research. Non-probability sampling, it means we have set the formula, we have set criteria in which some students have better chances to be selected, and some participants have better chances to be selected for our research, or some have poor chances or even least chances to be selected for our. It means probability sampling means there is least chances of randomization. So pre-planned design for analysis, it means we have done pre-planning. For analysis, each and everything we have to pre-plan for our research design in descriptive type research. Also, structured instruments for collection of data, structured or we need to discuss about all the instruments that we are going to apply in this descriptive type research design, or advanced decisions about operational procedure. Research design, in which the major emphasis in the descriptive type research, major emphasis is on to determining the frequency with which something occurs, or to the extent to which two variables co-vary. Or what is variable? Variable, but we can say it's a concept that can assume in any one of a range of values, or examples of variables include what we can say height, intelligence, income, weight, or achievements, motivation, or intelligence वगैरह. Or variables, what we can say, it could be any person, it could be anything, or place, or phenomena, that there are some sort of changes occur over there. So research design, in which what we can say, we have discussed about the determination of the frequency, how much time this is happening, or how much extent these variables will change the next variables. Or when we discuss about the variables, there are major or mainly two types of variables: dependent variables or independent variables. Dependent variables, that is changeable, and that is variable, or there are different variation in those variables. These are called dependent variables. And independent variables that become cause, that change the dependent variables, these are called the independent variables. So we see the different frequency of changing the variables, or changing the dependent variables by the independent variables. It enables the researcher to describe picture of a phenomena under investigation. Methodology involved in qualitative in nature, producing descriptive data, or what we can say narrative data. Three approaches to enable to record, analyze behavior patterns. Participant observation for data collection tools, which could use participant observation, personal documents, or unstructured interview could also be included in these sorts of descriptive type of research design. Number three is their diagnostic type of research design. As this name indicates, we diagnose something. We diagnose, it could be, if we are a medical researcher, we could diagnose some sort of diseases, or causes and effects, or some sort of thing. Or other problems could also be diagnosis through this diagnostic type of research design. It's also a rigid design, objective type research design, non-flexible research design, or it's also comprise the probability sampling technique, pre-planned structural instruments, or advanced decisions like the descriptive type research. Diagnosis corresponds to the fact-finding aspects of clinical practices, as I was discussing. If you are medical researchers, clinical type practices or researches could also be diagnosed by this. It could also be done by this diagnostic type of research design, or represents the most typical and simple problem-solving strategies of a helper faced with problems and crises on the job. It could also be related to unemployment or jobless people. We can also diagnose why there is a ratio of unemployment is too much in Pakistan or in other different areas of the world. So we also diagnose by conducting this research design. The reason, the causes of the unemployment can also be used. Consists of emergence of a problem, a diagnosis of its causes, formulation of all the avenues of remediation, or recommendations for a possible solutions. Example related to diagnostic research design. Data for diagnosis can be obtained in four major ways: a case history, or interview, clinical observations. The patients are kept under supervision by the medical researcher, or informal testing, or formal standardized testing, as well as Number 4 type is experimental type research design. Experimental type research design. Did you know what is experimental research? Yes, that is research type in which we do some sort of experimentation. We uh, do some sort of manipulation, and we do some sort of manipulation and control in the research, and different variables, control over different variables, dependent variables. So this is called experimental research. Fisher's name is associated with the experimental design research. Its origin in agriculture research was made by him when he was working in a photometric experimental station for a Center for Agriculture Research in England. Experiment is a study in which investigator manipulates or varies, but we can say the varies and measure other variables called dependent variables. So regarding experimental research, usually we discuss about the dependent variables or independent variables, right? X is dependent variables or Y is independent variables. So X is changed because of Y, or there's changes as a result of manipulation or as a result of controllability by the researcher or by the independent variables on changes or occur on the dependent variables we discuss normally in the experimental research. For example, what we can say, as I have given you example of pronunciation. So pronunciation is what we can say, if I formulated research questions or formulated hypotheses that the phonetic videos can give better chances to improve the pronunciation. So phonetic videos or effect of videos or phonetic videos on pronunciation. So effect of phonetic videos, it's X, that is independent variable, or pronunciation, that is changes as a result of manipulation, as a result of controllability of the research. So pronunciation is dependent variables, or phonetic videos is independent variables. There are three basic principles of experimental design: the principle of replication, the principle of randomization, the principle of local. Discuss one by one. The principle of replication. According to this, the experiment should be repeated more than once. Thus, each treatment is applied in many experimental units instead of one. By doing so, the statistical accuracy of the experiment is increased. So, if we have done the experiment for the first time, it means that we cannot generalize our experiment. We cannot apply our experiment to other similar situation. We need to get support of other researchers as well, who have done their researches related to this our particular area, who have done already, or in different local local environments or different local contexts. So the field is same, the phenomena is same, investigatable phenomena that we are going to get, that we are going to conduct research about that phenomena. So that would be same, but the situation must be different so that we can do generalize. So replication means repeated studies related to the same phenomena, but not the copy paste research. As we, being a Pakistani students, we do in most of the cases not the copy paste work, not the plagiarized work. Just replication means you can select the area, but you will do your genuine research, you will do data collection, you will apply your data collection tools, you will apply your data analysis tools, you will formulate your own research questions, you will give your problem statements, genuine problem statement. Really, it's also a problem in our area, in our land, in our context. So you will do your genuine research, or you will analyze your data in appropriate by using authentic data analysis tools, and then you will say that it's a duplicate study. The principle of randomization. This provides protection against the effects of extraneous factors by randomization. Randomization means we select the participants by using sampling techniques, of random sampling techniques. So there are different criteria or formulas by when we use, by using those formulas or criteria, we do the random sampling. We may apply randomization principle and protect ourselves against the effect of extraneous factors. Extraneous factors that are not our required outcome, that we don't need to be involved in them. The extraneous factors mean unwanted factors that could be affect our research. For example, I am using phonetic videos to improve the pronunciation or language skill in English language. So I have done the randomization. I have done the process of randomization. And if I do not randomize, or I do not select the participants by the process of randomization, maybe there are chances, maybe if the level of my participants is not equal, or they are all not belong to the same exposure, maybe there are some excellent students, or students having excellent language skills, so their pronunciation will be marvelous. So I will be confused whether their excellent pronunciation is because of my manipulation or because of my phonetic videos that I'm using to improve their pronunciation, or by chance, by naturally, or uh, they are already proficient enough in their pronunciation. So these will be extraneous factors related to my participants. So I need to randomize. I need to apply the process of randomization to select my participants by using the random sampling techniques. अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी 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 आज मैं करूँगी बात। ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है करूँगी बात। Sorry, the principle of randomization as we are discussing. So if I have not selected my participant by applying principle of randomization, there will be chances of unwanted factors or extraneous factors. Next, number 3 is the principle of local control. According to this principle, we first divide the field into several homogeneous parts, or we need to, if we have selected a one class, or we have to select a three classes, we need to divide them into different sections, into different groups, or what we can say, if we are conducting our experimental research, we need to divide the groups into what we can say, experimental group or control group. So we have to control it so that we can control the situation. In control group, it doesn't mean that are completely in our control. Control group means we are not giving them what we can say innovative, or what we can say, we are not giving them some innovative instructions. They will be given the same instructions or traditional instructions, or they will not be. Maybe in some cases control groups are not given any sort of instructions, and the experimental group is given some innovative instructions, or what we can say, the manipulations is done on experimental group, not on control group. So we need to divide into different parts or into different blocks, and then each such block is divided into part equal to the number of the treatment. But when we have to give them treatment, it's not a medical treatment, it's what we can say, this is the treatment. It means we are manipulating, we are giving them some special instructions to our participants who are who are enrolled in the experimental group. So we are giving them manipulation, we are giving them special instructions. It's called treatments. whether control group is not given, or if control group is given some sort of instructions, that will be traditional, not innovative. And experimental, when we want to see the effect of kinetic videos, so that's why we want to conduct this study. We want to conduct this research. We want to see the effect of kinetic videos on improving of pronunciation of the English language learner or ESL learner, EFL learner in Pakistani context. So this is called treatment and manipulation. So we need to be very careful about research design, because a single design can never serve the purpose of all types of research problems, because what appears to be suitable in one case may be lacking in one respect to the other in the context of some other research problems. So we have to be very selective. So we have to be very conscious while we are selecting our research design, or it depends upon the nature of our topic, it depends upon the nature of our study. So we need to be very careful. A good research design must always fulfill the following four conditions or criteria. It must be a criteria must be including objectivity, reliability, validity, and generalizability of the. So, what is objectivity? Objectivity judged by the degree of agreement between the final scores assigned to different individuals by more than one independent observer. Means, apart from the researcher, there must be some more persons or some other persons who have done the task of scoring or scoring of the different Likert scales or scoring of different tests. So so that there must be agreement between the final scores or by the researcher, or the scores given by the researcher or the scores given by other persons. There must be uh, matching, or there must not be too much difference. Or objectivity in social research is the principle drawn from positivism, that as far as possible, researchers should remain distanced from what they study. So findings depend on the nature of what was studied rather than on the personality, beliefs, and value of the researcher. So it means we can understand by this that there must be impartial research, unbiased research, rather than the research must be according to the personality, beliefs, what sort of opinion or beliefs a researcher have about a particular phenomenon. So it must be impartial, or it must be unbiased. What positivism is? Positive paradigm is based on the philosophical ideas of the French philosopher Auguste Comte, and it is emphasized given on the observation, and the reasons are means of understanding human behavior through knowledge is based on the experience of senses, or senses of our of a human being, that can be obtained by observation and experiment only. Next, there is a reliability. Reliability refers to consistency throughout a series of measurements, or some of the methods of determining reliability are using check items or administering the same test repeatedly again and again, so that the results could be reliable. Next, there is a validity. Validity implies self-consistency or absence of self-contradictions. It's identified with formal truth or self-consistency. Validity, any measuring instrument is said to be valid when it measures what it purports to measure. What is the purpose of test? It must given the purpose according to this validity point of view. What a researcher wants to investigate, what is the purpose, validity gives the answers of all these. Next, there is a generalizability. The degree of generalizability is known as term of the replicability or reproducibility of the findings in spite of different measures, setting respectively. Generalizations, the data collected from a sample, can be utilized for drawing certain generalization applicable or to a larger group from which the sample is drawn. It means we have done a small data, we have done research on small data, and we can apply this small data to a larger group of population. It's called generalizability. Next, there are some principles of research design.
A research design must be flexible, it must be appropriate, it must be efficient, economical, minimizes biasness, or maximizes the reliability of collected data and analysis. Features of a good research design. A research design appropriate for a particular research problem usually involves the consideration of the following factors. The means of obtaining information, what are the sources from where a researcher is getting information, the availability and skills or expertise of a researcher and staff or his co-researchers, the objective of the problem to be studied or the nature of the problem to be studied, the availability of time and money for the research work. Or apart from this, emphasis must be given on discovery of ideas and insight if we are selecting a good research design, or hypothesis if we are doing an experimental research design. There are hypotheses and there must be relationship or causal relationship we are going to investigate between different variables. So it's end of our today's lecture.